uheshimiwe, uhuru na umoja.
This is Method Academy, and in this cohort we have the East African cohort. First we started with the South African cohort, and then we went to the West African cohort, and now we are having the East African cohort that comprises of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. Well, one of the main components of this academy and this training is the social protection part of it. This is because we've come to realize that even the leadership of sex workers, leaders in Africa, have not been including social protection in their advocacy. Well, we've also realized that they actually don't know what social protection is, but with the ALESWA Academy and the curriculum, we do bring in the definition, we do educate the leaders on what social protection is, which entails a reduction of vulnerability by the different government, by different social protection schemes. Well, social protection initially has been having challenges in Africa. This is because one of the reasons is because sex work have not been recognized as work in most African countries by the mere fact that it is criminalized.
ALESWA cohort has been a good platform for us to understand the global legal framework, whereby I understand how I can use the legal framework that is existing, and my country Tanzania has committed on that treaties by signing to protect all citizens regarding of their ethnicity, origin and gender. So for me, I learned that I can use the existing structural government systems to challenge and holding my government and my country accountable in protecting the rights of us sex workers, like right to health, right to protection, right for freedom, and even addressing issues relating to stigma and discrimination towards us sex workers.
During this academy, I got to learn about the existence of different global human rights framework, and I also learned the definition of global human rights framework, which is a set of guidance which actually guide the promotion, protection and upholding of human rights of everyone regardless of who they are.
I really thank ALESWA, I really thank ASWA for giving us this opportunity probably to brainstorm and expound the access to health amongst trans women sex workers, because it's been a huge barrier in my country, Uganda, because we the trans women, we are the face of homosexuality in Uganda. The moment they get to see a trans woman, they get to see a homosexual in Uganda. So that alone has created a huge barrier for us in regards to access to comprehensive health services in healthcare settings, but also in different general health facilities that we always get services to, because we're being thrown out of health facilities because of our gender identities and our sexual orientations.
Well, after the leaders have been trained on social protection, first we are actually training them on social protection. We are actually also showing them the gaps and the niches using the global human rights frameworks that we have. And we are training them that after they learn about social protection, how are they going to engage the different stakeholders to ensure that the population and other communities, the sex workers community, have been.
In the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, I learned that there is articles that explain on how as sex workers we need to enjoy the fundamental rights of like right to protection, right to health, like other human rights, of which when I reflect to the sexual reproductive health rights, I see that regardless of being a sex worker, I'm also a woman. Where does my country signed the Convention of Elimination Discrimination Against Women, and they need to protect us as a sex workers, and also to respect the board autonomy and the choice of what we choose to be.
For example, I said I got to learn about the different global human rights framework, and I also see ALESWA as an opportunity also to build capacity for grassroots sex workers movements to advocate for health and legal services for sex workers. So I will call upon donors and other stakeholders to support different cohorts of ALESWA, so other young sex workers like me can get to learn, network, and actually strategize on how we can sustain our movement as sex workers.
We also expect them to use this knowledge in the data collection that they are going to do the interviews on the research on social protection. We do equip them with information on how they are going to use it later on. And after we as sex workers and as sex workers movement, we do fight for the right of social protection, then I think we shall be moving closer to the achievement or to the goal of many sex work organizations, which include the right to health and decriminalization of sex work and recognition of sex work as work.
Ideally, it's a very good opportunity for us to even give back to the information, access to knowledge, access to information in regards to their health, because most trans women did not know about it. So it's a very good space, and we promise to preach on the information in regards to what we have done and improve the livelihood of trans women sex workers in Uganda.
From ALESWA, I took this as an opportunity for the transformation of power among us, community of sex workers, and also it's a platform where we came to network and understanding that what are the opportunities within us. As I said previous, we have seen that we have everything in place in our fingertips. So when I go back to my country, it's high time now for me to start working with my communities behind me on how we can advocating together to make us being visible, and even we want to see to do campaign for decriminalization of sex work.
As a young sex worker, I am so excited to go back to my community and actually implement what I learned. And I would also like to recommend ALESWA to include sex workers in all their diversities. I know sometimes it might be due to constraint of resources, but I'd like to see an academy with sex workers who use drugs present as well.